We're back to another episode of Locked on Anaheim Ducks, and in our spirit of giving thanks, we're bringing in some special guests that need some special thanks as they are big Angels fans. That and more in this episode of Locked on Anaheim Ducks.
You're Locked on Ducks, your daily podcast on the Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome, everydayers. I'm Kyle Kjer. Welcome to Locked on Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. I'm a longtime Anaheim Ducks fan. I've spent multiple years covering collegiate sports, including college hockey. But here on Locked on Ducks, we're always talking about the Anaheim Ducks, and I got some special guests with me today. We've got the Halos in the Infield crew. We got Todd and Dominick. How you guys doing? We'll start off with Todd. How you doing, Todd?
I'm doing great, sir. Thank you for having us on the show, man. We're amped up to talk some Ducks hockey and little Angels baseball.
Absolutely. Dominick, how are things going in this wonderful fall season?
Things are great. We're keeping busy. We're loving what we're seeing from the Anaheim Ducks. And like Todd said, we'll echo it. Hopefully better days for the Angels. And this is maybe an off season that changes up some things, but the Angels could learn a lot from the Anaheim Ducks.
Hey, exactly. Things are looking good. The Ducks went through it. They went through the dark days, but I feel like the Angels have been going through the dark days in all the wrong ways. We'll get into that a little later, and we'll kind of talk about just how things have been changing around Orange County, as they're now calling it Orange Country, and just some of the new looks that have been happening around here with OC Vibe and new Disney stuff and stuff. But first, we're here to talk about the Anaheim Ducks and how successful and great things have been. And I know you guys have been super interested in what's been going on. So just kind of wanted to open up this first part with any questions you guys have or things that you've noticed about the team, whatever you're feeling. Kind of let's guide the conversation.
Absolutely. I'll start off. I think the biggest thing that is probably on my mind and on a lot of people's minds is coming out of the dark days. There is a new culture shift with Coach Quenneville in charge. What are your takes on his first 22 games of the season as they, get set for continuing the homestand with Vancouver and then the Kings right after Thanksgiving? How has the Coach Q era began for the Ducks? I think it's gone very well, but everybody might have a different take.
I mean, you hit it right there on the head. I think it's going extremely well, and he is someone that's bringing in a lot of culture. Last night, they had the fan fest for the Orange Alliance members, and they had a little Q&A with the coaches, a little panel board up there with Quenneville and Woodcroft and McGill and Budaj, the goaltending coach. And that culture and energy between those four guys, you could just sense is so different than years past. And they look like they're having fun. They're smiling, they're laughing, cracking jokes, and all they had to talk about the guys is that's how it is for the boys in the locker room. They show up, they're there to work, and they can taste that the winning feeling. They kind of get to see, like, you got to be in every single minute of every single game to have success. And when you do that and you have success, it leads to fun. And I think Quenneville's totally brought that in. And the big thing that's different for me that I notice is players aren't afraid to go make mistakes. Like, they have this freedom of, as long as they back check the heck out of their butt to get back, if they make a mistake trying something fancy, that's all that it matters. You're not going to get benched for 8 games. You're not going to be, sitting reading the newspaper in the back of the bus or anything. Like, you're going to have your chance to earn back your mistakes.
Well, I got a two-parter on that one, Kyle. It's a little different though, as far as the play on the ice with the players. Me and him right now, me and Dom, he likes Uncle Leo. I like Scary Terry. Who has impressed you more between the two? And do you have someone else that has caught your eye that has pretty much been an early MVP for the Ducks?
I mean, you got the two people whose jerseys I got this year. So
I got the old Leo Carlsson shirt on from the the retro logo. So
yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty cool shirt.
I'm steering the conversation in my direction. Hopefully, just saying.
Yeah, no, Leo has been outstanding. Talk about MVP caliber. I've mentioned a few times that I think he's going to be a Hart Trophy candidate for sure this year. But Troy Terry's definitely stepping into a whole new level. A player that I think the Ducks faithful have kind of been waiting for this pop off from Terry. There's been flashes of it, and you've seen just how good of a 200-foot player he is. And now he's completely popped out of his shell, and it's like he's everything that I thought he would be. Finally, he's getting goals, he's getting assists, he's in there defensively, and I think Leo just kind of sparks that out of him. Although Coach Quenneville mixing things up, and now Cutter Goche is up there with Beckett Sennecke and Leo Carlsson, and Beckett Sennecke, that is like a whole shocking story for him. I wrote him off. I was like, he's not mature enough yet. He's showing attitude at the rookie stuff. And he seemed like he was just kind of flustered. And then that turned around quickly. And he's just been one of the fastest learning players I've seen. Like every game, it seems like he picks up from what mistakes he's made, and he just keeps capitalizing and getting better and smarter at the game. It's really fun to watch.
Yeah, his skating has been amazing. I mean, me and Dom were talking about on the post game, like between him and Leo, just finding guys, knowing where everyone's at on the ice at all times. Like you're seeing some great passing, some great puck handling skills by both of them. So it's been fun. Like you said, Beckett Sennecke, like Dom was like, yeah, this guy's maturing in front of our eyes. So it's been fun to watch.
And for 19 years of age and not knowing coming into the season, was he going to make it past that 10-game stretch, and how the Ducks were going to essentially work out that clock of his starting to run. And, Verbeek said it very well in comparison to where Leo Carlsson was, where he was drafted. Sennecke was more developmentally ready to take a larger load than Carlsson was. So you're earning the fruits of the labor right now. And Todd and I joke all the time. Sennecke, for 19 years old, he's grown a pair very quickly here so far this season, and he has given it to other teams. You always have those shifts in sports. It doesn't matter, baseball, football, hockey, basketball. Those rookies, they'll shine for a little bit. Then the league will kind of figure you out, and then you have to kind of play that cat and mouse game of, okay, I got to adjust myself. I feel Sennecke has done that at times when other teams have figured out his skating ability and shooting ability.
Mm-hmm. He seems to always be getting just wrecked out there too. He's getting the full rookie treatment. Like I think every game he's either on his back, he's on his face, he's like somehow getting blown up by somebody. And at first I thought maybe it was his edge work, but really it's just he's working so hard and trying to be in the right spot, and he battles. And but like you said, like I think the only time you ever get to watch someone learn hockey faster is like watching a peewee or like a little mite kid like learning how to play hockey like for the first time. Like that level of progression I think we've been seeing out of Beckett Sennecke, and it's just such a rare treat. And I mean, great for us as Ducks fans. Like it's to have that, and like to know that you have Verbeek drafting other kids that are in our program like Roger McQueen, where he's like, oh, this guy has more potential than that guy. And it's like, well, if this guy's already showing us this, like we're definitely set for a good future right now.
And I feel that's how Todd and I, when we were talking about during our watch party against the Vegas Golden Knights, was you have Sennecke who's taking the hits and basically getting buried every single game, but still producing at that level, and it's not taking his edge off. That tells you that he's something different out of this new younger core that's coming together here for the Ducks.
Yeah, he'll board you right back. That's the thing. You might knock him down, but he'll knock you down at some point.
When he gets to 24, 25 years old and gets the bigger muscle and kind of builds into that frame, watch out. This is going to be a deadly player for Anaheim.
I got to ask you, though, Kyle, I know we'll probably get into Dostal and how good he's been, and like just the crazy saves he made just the other night. But are you feeling better since the last time we talked about Mrazek?
Yes. Mrazek, I mean, the numbers clearly not been was indicative of his actual performance, because he had those couple of games where he got lit up and but still was a 2-0 record, and his like goals against was like 5 points something. Like just the worst numbers you could possibly have for 2 wins. But now like it's coming back down to earth, and I think he's playing really, really well. And it was unfortunate the game where he was in net and they just lost by the 1 goal, and he was playing solid that whole night, and they just kind of gave up some weird redirects in front. And then that one, like where it just went 5-hole off him, he had the clear and it was just a fluke play that happened. So Mrazek's definitely playing a lot better. I think we're really seeing that the Ducks kind of have some work to do in their defensive zone.
Yeah.
And, as all things, they got to tighten some stuff up because they are a younger core. And we'll get into kind of just the younger staff in the back end and the defense and all new things Orange County right after the break. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And before we get into the next segment here, I just want to say thank you for making Locked On Anaheim Ducks your first listen of the day. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. And welcome back to the show. Halos in the Infield. And we were talking about Petr Mrazek before the break there. And that's what happens when you're having fun. Time flies. We're already past the first break here. But Dostal, someone who's absolutely been standing on his head, and I'm sure you guys have seen just how spectacular this goaltender is. What are your thoughts on Gibson being out of here? Are you guys as upset as most people, or do you kind of see the writing on the wall now?
I think the writing was on the wall for a while, unfortunately. It's hard to see fan favorite players that have been here for so long and dedicated their time to the Ducks leave. And I know some of us felt like that when Trevor Zegras got traded away as well. But I think, as we joked about before the break, Mrazek playing a little bit better takes the edge off a little bit of, maybe we did have a good with Gibson and Dostal for a little bit. But the Ducks, I've said this plenty of times, somehow, some way, I don't know if it's just the fine tuning of how this organization rolls from inaugural season to now. The Ducks know how to churn out goaltenders. Mm-hmm. I don't know how. They just do it. And we've talked about it for years. We thought Freddie Anderson was going to be the guy. And then you had Victor Foss and Jonas Hiller and Brizgalov and Jaguar and Eber. You had all of these wonderful guys. And I'm probably missing some throughout the way as well. But the Ducks just know how to keep it as steady as possible. So even if one leaves, it's the next man up mentality. And I feel very strongly right now that Dostal and Mrazek can get us to where we need to be moving forward.
Yeah, I think there's a portion of the fan base that kind of wishes this team was performing this well when Gibson was in net. But the fact that Dostal is stepped up, like, Dominick said, and you've mentioned on the other show too, where he's just playing a lot better. He seems to be, poke checking at the pucks better. He's blocking the 5-hole a lot better. He's had, some flukish goals go in to where it's like he's usually just, he's taking the right approach too to odd man rushes and things like that too. So he's definitely upped his game. And I think, like, to play off of what Dominick said, I mean, yeah, you missed Gibson, but you're super happy for Dostal. And I think all of us can agree we're feeling a little bit better about Mrazek.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And the thing that Dostal too brings, like, I think it's just so reliable. Like, you
Yeah.
know where he's going to place the puck and where it's going to go for his redirects. And even with his stick handling ability, like he's just that little extra oomph for the defenseman back there. And with how the defensemen have been playing overall, like Jacob Trouba and Olin Zellweger, they're fantastic right now. Zellweger's in every single play. He's just in everyone's face. He's super involved. And I think that's a huge change because of Quenneville. Like you asked earlier, I don't think Cronin was letting him do anything. I don't think he was letting him breathe, and he was not thriving under that. And now Zellweger with Trouba, like they both just get to be kind of the Bash brothers out there. Unfortunately, though, on some of the other defensive pairings, they're great defensemen, but they're kind of leaving Dostal out to dry with letting guys just hang out in that high slot area and not being strong on sticks and kind of off balancing guys. Is that something that you guys have noticed as well, or what kind of sticks out to you as some issues for the team?
I feel right now for the Ducks defensively, it's a little bit of feast or famine. You know, you're going to get guys that join the offensive rush like the Jackson Lacombs and the Olin Zellwegers. And then you have the stay-at-home guys like the Trubas and Radko Gudas. I think when you get those complementary pieces that come together, you're at this point, again, 22 games into the season, so I'm not going to hit the, danger button quite yet. It's, again, you're either going to live right by it or you're going to fail by it. And it's kind of trial by fire at this point. So if the Ducks want to get better, in my opinion, defensively, I think you need to, if this is what they keep, that's just, hearsay, that they don't add anybody, and this is the defense pairings that we have for the rest of the season, regardless if we go to the playoffs or not. I think there just needs to be a sit-down conversation of when is the right time to join the attack, when is the right time to stay put, and figure out who, kind of put a ranking system together. Who are the ones that we're allowing to do it, and then adjust your pairings. Because if you have two defensemen, let's say you have the same line as Lacombe and Zellweger together, and they both love to join the attack, you potentially have a situation where all five go, and then one bad pass creates a 2-on-0 break, and you leave Dostal and Mrazek to dry. So I think it's still in the evaluation stage. I would hope the Ducks would want to add to this roster, not take away like in years past. I don't think, hopefully those days are in the past.
I have to agree with Dominic. It's been a mixed bag because sometimes they'll be ultra aggressive to keep the puck inside their blue zone and keep attacking, and they'll poke check it away. They'll get guys hammered against the glass. They'll get the turnover and they'll keep it by the goalie and they'll keep pressuring. But then that leaves the back end wide open, and we've seen a lot of 3-on-1s and stuff like that. So I think like he said, there's a time and place for everything, and once they figure it out, this can only make the team much better, because I say outside of that and a little bit on the penalty kill, I know their penalties aren't up where they were the last couple of years, but the ones they have been on lately, they've been inconsistent. They've been playing a lot of passive box and allowing teams to tee off on Dostal and get rebounds. And then there's other times where for whatever reason they're attacking. So that's got to be a Coach Q thing or something they see, but it's just kind of a mixed bag right now, and hopefully they get into a consistency.
Yeah, that is one thing that they did kind of mention, is they've been testing guys in positions they're not comfortable with at the beginning here. It sounds like, especially with the PK, they've been having guys that have never really ran PK minutes before, and they're just trying to get guys, I think, adjusted for any situation, because when the playoffs, if knock on wood, they come, you never know who's gonna be out of the penalty or who's gonna be on the PK and what's gonna be happening. So I think there's a little bit of longevity planning there by Quenneville. And speaking of longevity planning, Orange County, they've been having some longevity planning out here. And I was gonna say earlier with the goaltenders, I think the reason the Ducks have such good goaltending and the vibes are vibing with the goaltenders out here is because it's Orange County, and now they're trying to OC vibe it up. What are your thoughts on how things have been going out here with that?
So A+. I don't know, whatever the Ducks, and it all stems back, and we'll probably talk about this in a little bit when we discuss the Angels. It starts at the top. Ownership. Ownership believes not only in this team and this coaching staff, like anybody says, they believe in the community. And I think you don't put together this massive plan of parking structures and eateries and shops and apartments and music centers and all of this stuff if there wasn't a definitive plan in place to you've done your due diligence and evaluated what you have, and now you're going to put the stamp of approval on it. So I think it's A+ work. I think the Ducks marketing team for the OC Vibe and the Ducks in general has been amazing as well. All the collaborations that they've been working on. And again, you have the 21st Duck that they do every opening night. That's been a huge staple in the community, I believe, for the last 7 to 8+ years now, if not more. So the Ducks ownership, they know how to do it right. And I think whenever the ribbon gets cut and it's officially done and there's no more construction, the final product is going to be amazing. I know that the parking structures are just the tip of the iceberg for at least for what fans have seen this season.
Yeah, I the meme that properly I think fits Artie Moreno on his side of it is that Drake where he's like pushing away like I don't want that. It's the Anaheim and then the Los Angeles logo. He's all right, I like that. It's the opposite for the Samuelis. Like they've bought in. And I think that's what the fans appreciate the most is you're representing us. And the Orange County people are very proud of their team. And now with the OC Vibe, it's in phase 1. And like Dominick said, once phase 1 is going to be done, we'll look. We've seen the artist renderings for phase 2 and possibly the River Walk as phase 3 and the connection of all 3. It's going to be spectacular. It's going to be like the Mecca, down here in the OC, which we've talked on the other show where, there's just not much to do around Anaheim Stadium and Honda Center, but now there will be. And maybe that area that kind of died down by the movie theater and where the Tilted Kilt used to be, that'll be revitalized because they'll be real close. So it's all going to be beneficial. And it just goes to show you, like Dominick said, what ownership can do and having a good relationship with city council and the community.
Absolutely.
We don't dive into politics in the show, but we're just putting it out there.
Yeah.
We don't
usually.
I know some people in the Anaheim City Council that don't like Mr. Moreno and they love the Samuelis. So put it out there.
Again, we talked about earlier, feast or famine defensively, feast or famine with ownership is Angels.
Correct.
Well, that's a perfect segue here. We're going to be getting into what is feast or famining over at the big old A in the Angel Stadium right after this. Hockey season is officially here, and nothing beats being in the arena for those opening games. But let's be real, getting tickets can be a total headache. Between waiting in queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump right before checkout, it's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your team. That's where Game Time comes in, the app that gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NHL tickets, fast, easy, and stress-free. I love that what you see is what you pay, no hidden fees at checkout. Take the guesswork out of buying NHL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. And we are back now, getting into the future. We're talking about the OC Vibe and how the ownership of the Samuelis basically trying to compete with Disney at this point with the OC Vibe construction. And then you got Mr. Art Moreno over across the freeway hanging out at the Big A. So where you guys take it off, share with us the misery that is the Angels fandom.
Todd, you want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, if you're driving on the 57, like now or any other day, just look at the parking lot towards the railroad station. There's got to be a good 300 to 500 trailers in there. He's renting out the parking lot. So this guy is scraping the bottom of the barrel right now. This is before the monster trucks come to town. So there's nothing going on over there. It's unfortunate. As fans, we want to be that team because we're always rumored, like you look up MLBTradeRumors.com. There's always like, hey, the Angels are into this guy. But will it happen? And we've been turned down 4 or 5 years. And, Ducks fans can say, hey, it's been a cool 7 or 8 years since we've been to the postseason. We'll try 11 for the Angels. We're in a
Oof.
drought. It's pretty bad. And even with extra wild cards, me and Dom and the other guys talk about it. It's like, man, we should be right there at least, trying to sneak in or playing. We're not even playing competitive baseball in August and September. So I think, long story short, that's all we want as Angels fans. We want them to be competitive in August and September. Maybe we can get our wish this year. Like we don't have the heights that the Ducks are at right now, but maybe we could just be like playing meaningful games at the last month of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice to have those. We've kind of had a little taste of it in mid to late July, the last couple of seasons, until it really took a nosedive. But from a more positive, because I agree 100% with Todd, everything that he said. The Angels did make a move recently. They traded Taylor Ward to Baltimore in exchange for the right-hander Grayson Rodriguez. The fan base, I would say, is 50-50. Todd is on the 50% side of, woohoo, we got a pitcher.
Yeah.
I'm on the side, I agree with the trade, especially Taylor Ward, 1 year, $13 million left on his contract. And the new right-hander, Grayson Rodriguez, who is battling some health stuff. He should be ready to go for spring training, has 4 years of control left on his deal. So no matter what happens, trades, free agency, talk to us in July when you got some games under your belt, because it could all change in a heartbeat. On paper right now, the move makes 100% complete sense. And I was hearing rumors today, don't know how trusty they are, that the Angels are gandering opinions around baseball of, is there a way to unload Anthony Rendon's contract from their pool of money if any team wants to take it, or if there's a buyout agreement to save some money for this offseason? Plenty of options. If that happens, if, big if, Perry Manassian is able to unload Anthony Rendon's final year of his contract, he might deserve an extension with the Angels just for that within itself.
And with that, like, I know we kind of talked about before on the show, Todd, so with this projection of potentially a ceiling cap and floor coming into play, how would that affect the Angels?
Actually, since they are, because of the two guys that they got, Trout and Rendon, taking up most of the the payroll, it looks like they spend a lot to the normie, but for the most part, theirs is where the league wants it, or slightly above it. I know the league would like at least between 120 to 160 per team, but you got teams that are under $100 million and not really spending. So I think the floor would be somewhere around 120, and then like right where the Angels are at. It wouldn't affect them in the long run, to long-winded answer, but I think they would be right where the league wants them.
And yeah, I think the Angels, because they're in a bigger market than some other teams in Major League Baseball, I wouldn't be shocked if Major League Baseball comes up with a formulated system of, the bigger market you're in a different tier of payroll, and they kind of tier everybody off if that's the case.
Almost like a tax bracket.
Almost like a tax bracket. I could see the Angels being forced into a situation of, your baseline payroll has got to be around the $200 million range. And if that's the case, like Todd said earlier, the Angels are always engaging with free agents or engaging in trades, and they never kind of X marks the spot, get the guy that they want. I think in some regard, and some people might disagree with it, I think a lot of upper management behind closed doors is slightly pissed off that they have not been executing on a lot of these trades. Vernon Wells, Josh Hamilton, Albert Pujols was a decent. He produced at least a little bit, but Anthony Rendon has done nothing. The Angels, whenever they've tried to throw that Hail Mary touchdown free agent or trade, 9 times out of 10, it has not panned out. They gave a massive contract to David Fletcher. He just retired, and they traded him away with 2 or 3 years left in that deal. So whenever the Angels dole out a contract, it seems to bite them in the butt in some way, shape, or form. So I think getting that remedy right, and finally, once the Angels get a free agent that works, I think maybe they'll be more inclined to spend a little more and kind of get the proverbial monkey off their back.
Yeah, 2 things real quick. I think if they would have vetted Rendon, they could have just easily did a background and said, hey, baseball's not really priority to him. He's just a natural talent. Stuff like that should have been red flags. They're like, no, take the money. And as far as like the payroll for the Angels, I think the Dodgers would drive them up if it was a tax bracket even higher, since it's LA. And that would probably get Artie to be like, oh, no, we're not LA anymore. We're Anaheim. We're small market.
Right. Finally. Oh, no, we're Orange County.
Reverse psychology with Artie Moreno. Reverse.
He's like, embrace the orange.
Yeah, they become the Anaheim Orange Angels.
Yeah, right. That's the new rebrand.
Just all Ducks logos, but with the A everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm representing it right now. What are you talking about? It's fine.
Hey. I know. I was kind of intrigued what they were going to do with the new collab, and I was a little disappointed with the collab hats this year. The like Ducks Angels collab day. I thought they were going to do a little something better, but
I was there and I went in the team store and I said, and I'm out.
I'd rather not.
Hey, remember when Microsoft Word used to be like the greatest like graphic design invention? That's what it seemed like. That's what it seemed like.
Clip art.
Right.
Clip art.
Well, thank you guys for coming on and chatting Ducks with me and Angels. And, I hope the whatever the Ducks are doing can bring some kind of magical mist over the Angels and get something buzzing over there, because to have both of these teams buzzing would be super great for this area. Like, to have playoff baseball lead into great Ducks hockey, which leads into playoff hockey, which leads into great Angels baseball. Like, to have that cycle would be fantastic.
I think Petridge Farms remembers when the Angels and Ducks were good at the same time. It's been a while.
Oh my God!
Man remembers.
Whatever magic the Ducks can bring over to the Angels, any and all is welcome. Trust me, I wanted the Samuelis to take over the Angels when Artie was supposedly selling. If Artie decides to ever sell again, the OC vibe is going to bring in more money to Samueli's pockets. Does that go into another ownership group? Let's manifesting here, people.
Yeah, a little branding. Could you imagine having all that area be like fully connected to?
Man,
vibes would be high.
Little train to Disney. Go get some cotton candy from Disney or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll take
churros.
There'd be some kind of tie-in, right?
Right. They gotta. Well, thank you guys for joining. And then to the listener, thank you for making Locked On Anaheim Ducks your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all new Locked On NHL Game Night. Every game, every night until a Stanley Cup champion is crowned. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find NHL Game Night on Locked On NHL on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. And where can the listener find you guys?
Well, for us, it's Halos in the Infield on YouTube, or you can listen to the podcast on Spotify, iTunes, or just check us out on social media, X, Instagram. It's all Halos in the Infield.
Absolutely.
And also, Dominick.
Yes, my little individual, since I'm partnered with Halos in the Infield, you guys can check out on Instagram at Catella Chronicles. That's at Catella_CHRON.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. And as always, I'm Kyle Kjer. Be good out there.